Well, Doug is a very special, unique player that knows how to play the game of basketball. Been playing for a very long time, and you can just see by, his growth, his knowledge for the game, his feel for the game, and then also how he's able to provide leadership out there on the floor. Um, we're very proud of watching his growth since the time he stepped foot on campus back in July, and each day he's been a joy to coach. You can ask his teammates how he's competed out there on the floor and how they all really enjoy playing with him and playing against him. But from my eyes, what I've witnessed is that this young man will have a huge impact on our program.
On your left is James.
Hey, Juwan, I guess what was it like meeting Yusuf for the first time, and I guess what were your first impressions?
It was great. It was great. I've had a lot of conversations with him on the phone, Zoom calls, and couldn't wait to get the opportunity to see him in person. And I just recall when we were all in Paris and knowing what time he was going to arrive. I was waiting downstairs in the lobby, and it wasn't planned. It happened so organically where the guys was like coming downstairs, and I don't know how they found out what time he was arriving, and it was just beautiful to see how they all wanted to be there to welcome him, not waiting for the next morning because he arrived at night, but being there when he touched in on the hotel lobby floor. And so I'm happy, for our team accepting him, and I'm also excited at how he's adjusted thus far to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Joanne, go back to Derek Walton, Xavier Simpson, for your guys at guard, and now the last 3 years in the Michigan program, the transfer and that leadership role at point guard. How big of a challenge has it been? It looks like it's worked, but how difficult is that to have an outside program coming in?
Well, it's not, and I know your point you're making. It's not easy to have, whether you have a freshman point guard or you have a grad transfer to come in and step in and right away and be able to pick up, a new system than what they've been accustomed to, where they were playing for, whether it was in high school or for a different program. But that's where we as coaches, we embrace the opportunity to teach, learn and grow. And we learn too as coaches as far as learning your players and what makes them and what they, of course, get excited about, and what's their skill level is like, and what's the communication part is like, and then what they know as far as from a basketball IQ level. And with that, I'm always about helping our players in any way that I get an opportunity to coach them. I love to see the growth in each player, and now with Jalen, who come from Princeton, and Doug, who's from Paul VI, they came from really good coaches.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I mean, you've obviously done this 2 years in a row, so I wonder what sort of things you've learned about how to quickly integrate someone into that process, and then specifically with Jalen, what was it that really drew you to him and just sort of that match?
Well, let's give Ward credit. Ward decided to hire me, so that was something there that he felt that me as a coach that he would trust and lead in this program. And from what I've learned as a coach and starting as a player, and then also learning from other coaches that I played for, and then you're adding the fact that I've been an assistant coach with the Miami Heat, with a Hall of Fame coach who I work for, that in coaching, they're always going to be something evolving. It's always going to be fluid, and you have to be ready to pivot on what is being thrown at you, and it's been fun.
Sit down in front with Larry.
Juwan, a year ago, you and your players were talking about national championships and real big goals. How would you describe the expectations for this team this season?
I guess you can take a wild guess. Nothing changes. We always winning, always thinking about winning and growing and working hard to go after our biggest challenge and also one of our biggest goals, and that's winning championships, not just one. Our goal is always, we look at and identify that we are playing in one of the toughest conference in college basketball, and some would say the toughest conference, and that's the Big Ten. And then you look at, from that level of all the great coaches, players that plays in the Big Ten, that's always going to be a challenge. And because teams do a great job of scouting you and vice versa. You also get to know each other because you play against each other sometimes not once but twice. And then you face your opponent again in the Big Ten tournament. So that's another one of our goals, to win that championship. And then last but final, the ultimate NCAA championship. And that's something that I've always been peeking at, scratching the surface since the time when I played here at the University of Michigan. And haven't done it yet, but I'm always fired up about it. Let's go.
Move over to Connor.
Back in August, you kind of mentioned working on the defense for the season. What specific adjustments have you guys started making?
Sorry?
Back in August, you mentioned like working on the defense for this season. What adjustments have you guys made?
It's always about growing on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. We will continue to keep working, and we will put the work in today.
Left with John.
I know you feel like you have a roster full of sons, but two of them are named Howard. Can you talk a little bit about that, and if you ever catch yourself maybe being a little tougher on them than other guys?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Like, my boys know this. I love them. I love them unconditionally. They always are going to be special in my eyes. They are unique in a lot of ways, and both are very different, even though they're from the same mom and dad, and you watch them grow and watch how they develop over the years, and seeing like who they are and what they become. I'm so damn proud of them, and I'm going to coach them. And with that, at times it's going to be some hard, tough love. And am I coaching them harder than their teammates? Maybe, maybe not, but they're going to get coached. Do I expect more from them than their teammates? No, I expect a lot from all of them because of the way how, we've, as a staff, has developed this culture and what we expect. And it's a marriage, and that's where it makes it, fun for us, is that they have responsibility, so do we, and our responsibility is to love each other, grow, help each other grow. And I know I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it until I turn blue in the face, is that we do a fun job of like allowing our players to have an active participant and a voice within the culture and also within the team. And with my boys, they are a large part of that. And the beauty of it is just watching how their teammates and staff have accepted them.
Move over to Paul.
Hey, Juwan, how have you seen Terrence Williams grow as a leader since when he got here to now being named a captain?
Well, he's grown a ton. As soon as he stepped foot on our team, and this was like during the COVID, right away, I had knew from, the time I recruited him that he was a guy that had a great feel for the game of basketball. Also, you put him out there on the floor, he's going to figure it out, but he also is going to impact the game where it results to winning. And sometimes in a box score, you'll look at like, wow, 4 points, or I'm just going to use an example, 4 points, 6 rebounds, or you might look at one time in a box score, maybe 12 points and, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. But that's the way how he has a way of just impacting the game. And with that, he played his freshman year, and he played because he earned it and because we also trusted, what he's going to do out there on the floor and how he was able to pick up things right away. And then, like I touched on earlier, his feel for the game with his IQ. But then last year, we saw how he impacted the season and how well he played and how he shot the ball extremely well. And so with this year, he's a third year in. He knows the system very well. He can teach it. He can coach it today if he had to. That's how smart he is. He can play, 1 through 5 because, he just really, focus in on, everything that's out there on the floor. And that's an amazing gift to have. And everyone doesn't have it, but Terrence Williams does. And so by being a captain, he's a smart kid. He's also a leader. At times he's a soft-spoken leader, and I always challenge him to be a little bit more vocal. and I love how he's embraced that responsibility.
Alejandro? Juwan, this week the university welcomes in a new president, Santa Ono. I'm curious if you've had any interactions with him, any first impression of him, and what impact the new president can have on athletic department.
Well, what I've been reading about our new president is it's been fun, and it's also been just refreshing to see everyone that has been around him has really enjoyed his presence, and I love how he has really accepted Ann Arbor, and looking forward to his new title, and looking forward to being part of the best university in the world, and also knowing how he enjoys sports. That makes it even more fun. But I haven't had a chance to meet him in person, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Michael? Juwan, when it comes to Hunter and Terrace up front this season, how do you see them kind of complementing each other, and how do you balance the development of Terrace while not wanting to take Hunter off the floor a whole lot?
Well, I'll tell you this, in practice, they've both been challenging each other, and it's been great to see how they competed, and it's also nice to see how Hunter has been great with his leadership and helping Terrace. And Terrace is, another guy that he's a competitor. He loves the game of basketball, and his teammates love being around him because he's so smart, he's so cerebral, and can do many things out there on the floor and impacting the game. And we'll see how the season goes.
Andrew?
Hey, Juwan, back to Yusuf. Just the fact that you weren't able to meet him in person before he, committed to Michigan, signed on. What was that like, having to do it, by phone and get a feel for him as a fit? I know that's a very important thing for you.
Well, was it 2 years ago when COVID hit? I mean, that was a ton of our recruiting back in, and I can't keep up with the years, but it goes by so fast. Haven't had really a normal year yet since the time I've been the head coach. So we just have to figure it out as you go. And I think we've all in this room have figured out how we can use Zoom and do things remotely. I'm sure with your job, you've worked a lot at home remotely. That's just been some of our new normal, and that's with Yo-Yo. We've been able to connect a lot with Zoom calls and phone calls and FaceTime.
And then what have you, learned about him, maybe even off the court, that you didn't know during that, Zoom recruitment that you picked up since he's been here?
Well, we still are getting to know each other more and more, but there's always new things, especially when you interact with kids. I don't know, do you have kids? Yeah, there's always something new with kids, and he's not a man yet, so I can call him a young man. He's still a kid to me.
Back over to Paul.
Has the way you approach the preseason preparation changed from your first season as a head coach here at Michigan to now your fourth season?
I'm still boring, we stick to the same thing, same script.
Juwan, what do you feel like is left to prove or left to accomplish?
I didn't hear the first part.
What do you feel like is left to prove or left to accomplish for Hunter? As a guy who played at this level and played really well, but what's maybe the next step for him?
Winning a championship. That's what he just told everyone, that was a big reason why he came back to school, is to win a championship, and I believe it. And he's working hard to help lead and to bring the championship to Ann Arbor.
In the back, coach?
Juwan, with your incoming freshman class, what are some of the programs or activities that you're implementing at practice to kind of help build that team chemistry for some of the new guys and the guys that are still here?
We had one of the best trips ever this summer. I don't know if you had a chance to witness it on social media or read it in the newspaper, but that trip, being able to go to Paris and also Athens, Greece, and Mykonos was some of the best. Where you talk about being able to bring a team that's very new and having one returning starter, 3 juniors, 2 grad transfers, 5 new freshmen, and two guys that were, 3 Kobe Buffkin, Isaiah, and Will, who was on the team last year, but Kobe played more than Isaiah and Will, that was the most important time for us this past summer, is getting away. And that really helped our team in a lot of ways of forming that brotherhood and chemistry that we always talk about. You know, it's easy to say, hey, that's my brother, or this my family, but it's nothing like when you're away from your family and it's 10 days where you have, you know, no cell phones, but because cell phone usage, if you use your cell phone over there, it's very expensive. It's going to charge you a lot of money. And they had to be forced to talk and hang out, and they couldn't go anywhere but to see each other's face every day. And to see my face every day is like, it was awesome. So that's what really brought us all together. And I think from that trip, we've learned a lot about one another, and hopefully it will carry over to this season and continue with our culture.
Hey, Juwan. A few days ago, Oregon coach Dana Altman was quoted as saying he expects Michigan to make a return trip to Eugene after the game in 2019 here. He even went so far as to say that you guys owe Oregon a return trip to Eugene. Is that something you've discussed with Ward, and have you had any communications with Dana about that?
Well, last that I read in the contract, it states that we don't owe them a game. And if I recall, last time in that contract, I wasn't here when we signed the contract. I think it was with Coach Beeline. And with our schedule, it's just hard to fit that game in this year, and then possibly also next year. But we'll see what the future holds. But that word that's very tricky. I owe my wife a kiss tonight.
Contract there?
Hell yeah, it's a contract.
Juwan, with Kobe, what have you seen year two Kobe? He's been out of practice for a while.
Man, Kobe's been great. Kobe has a chance and to really impact this team in a lot of ways. He can shoot the basketball. He can score. Really good finisher at the rim. He's has really accepted the fact that what his timetable is, and knowing that what his timetable may be is different from others, and that's hard. That's hard, But he's very mature in knowing the person and what the player and what his goals are, and I love how this. And I said it earlier before in some of our press conferences. I think you were there. Was this summer and spring he had stayed here in Ann Arbor and worked out pretty hard with Sandman, and then also he worked out in the gym with some of our managers. He came in here alone at times and got a lot of work in. Spent time in California working out with a trainer that he's very comfortable and familiar with. But he has been on a mission, and he's going to impact and he's going to have a big year. And that's what I expect from Kobe, a big year.
Going to go back to the back.
Hi. So we talked a little bit about sort of the team building and sense of brotherhood amongst the players, which is, in a sense, the family within a larger family of the university. So for this upcoming season, what would you say is the message to the overall U of M family, from the visitors, the fans, and alumni? What is the overall message that you want to send to them with this upcoming season?
Well, we've been a very competitive team, and we're looking forward to bringing our fan base, being present and being supportive throughout the season. I know Mage Rage is going to be in the building, consistently bringing the energy. We'd love to have the fans join in with the Mage Rage energy and be supportive in a lot of ways, whether there's runs is being happening with our opponents, or our team is getting stops and diving for the floor for loose balls, or getting charge takings, sacrificing their body. We're going to need everyone to chip in and bring that energy and juice. So I'm excited. I know the guys are, but as a whole, we need a Phil Chrysler. That's packed the place. No matter who we play, be there. And I know at times we're going to have games pretty late at 9, 9:30. And get your coffee wherever it takes.
Juwan, did you see high-level leadership type qualities in Jace when he was a young kid kind of growing up?
Who's that?
Jace.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, Jace is very comfortable with himself. And that's why I respect Jace so much. He doesn't care how people think or view him. He's a young man that not afraid to speak up when some may be afraid. He's a very smart kid. He's a coach's son, and that helps a lot too. Let's call it what it is. He's played sports, different sports, football, basketball, but he's been a leader in the classroom. So it translates very well, and nice to see how he's been able to take on that voice this year and not be afraid. But he's learned from guys like Isaiah Livers. Isaiah Livers was a guy that was big in his ear when Jace was a freshman and helping Jace transition here at Michigan. Shawnee Brown was another great leader for Jace, and he picked up a lot from Shawnee Brown. Shawnee was consistently bringing leadership every day in practice with his voice and his hard work and toughness. And Jace has really took notice of that and has brought that every time he's getting an opportunity to in practice or in games when he played last year. So I'm not really surprised, but I am happy for him and his growth. And being a captain for this team, we're going to need his leadership. He deserved to be a captain. The guys, his teammates, respects him. And it was just nice to hear, like Jet one day, we were talking and we were just chatting it up. And I try not to talk about basketball a lot when I'm at home with my boys. And Jet just brought it up. He was like, "Dad, you did it right." And I'm waiting. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the captains that you chose, those are the right leaders for our group. And this was after when we got together in July, because of the summer session, we were allowed to work 4 hours per week with one another. And then we had 10 practices leading up to Europe. And then we went over to Europe and played those 3 games. And I just watched the team. And sometimes, and I've been on teams where the players are allowed to, vote for their captains. And I've been on those teams where the guys that they vote for a captain end up being the guys for, a popularity contest. And are those the guys that are really leading, or do they really know how to lead? And sometimes, no. And folks lead in different ways, and I know. And some people are not just natural-born leaders. And so with Jace, he's a natural-born leader.
Michael? Juwan, with Caleb and Eli moving on, that's a lot of three-point shooting that they took with them. What have you seen from the group when it comes to perimeter shooting, and who do you think can step forward there this season?
We've gotten better from the three-point line. We've gotten better. You'll see it this year.
Go ahead, Tom.
Juwan, to pick up on what you just said about the popularity contest, I'm curious, the Hunter leadership quotient. Different having guys want to have fun with you and having them follow you. What has that process been like for him? Is that a continuous challenge to him for you? And then with Cole, to get back with him, he's not a very quiet, very loud guy naturally, right? He's kind of a quiet dude. Have you kind of seen him be more vocal?
Yes. Great question. Hunter, he's a different kind of leader. Like last year, Hunter, he's a leader, but he led more by example. And he allowed Eli to be more of the vocal leader and challenged Hunter to be more of a leader. And he just didn't want to get out of his comfort zone. But granted, Hunter, everyone loves him. He's so funny. He doesn't mind being the villain, and he takes on that role to take pressure off, his teammates. I'm like, that is pretty special, because a lot of guys don't want to get uncomfortable like that. Doesn't like going on the road and people having to boo them every time they touch the floor, touch the ball. And I said, I see Hunter. I see where he's a genius. He's pretty unique in a way. And then, yeah, I said genius. Yeah, right, he is. And then this year, I challenged him this summer. I said, hey, we're going to need your leadership. And he accepted that role. And he's been more vocal, knowing that he doesn't have an Eli he can rely on. And with Kobe, he is soft-spoken, but he's smart. He's sharp. And when he speaks, people listen. And you don't have to always have to talk to be a leader. And you have to pick your spots. And Kobe is smart enough to pick his spots, but he's also comfortable within himself, knowing who he is and also understanding his role. And he knows that how we've played and what we expect from guys and the energy level in practice. But what I love about Kobe that's so special is he takes ownership when he's not doing his job. And a lot of folks can't do that. And he also will allow you to coach him.
Move back over to Tom.
Yeah, Juwan, a lot of presidents of former Michigan players now in the NBA. Jordan Poole, NBA champion. How much of an advantage is to have former players in the NBA and make that linkage? Is that something you can sell, obviously, as well as your background in the NBA?
Well, it's been great to see how this program here at the University of Michigan has been doing great as far as putting guys in a position to further their dreams and goals. And for those who want to make it to the NBA, the success that we've had of having a lot of Michigan alums, playing on a professional level. And Michigan program is, we do it silently. Some other programs, they may publicly make announcements as far as, we put these guys in the league, we got this amount of players in the league. Some programs have a different model than we have, and that's okay too. But with Michigan, we're proud of our guys, but we don't stick out our chest and start bragging on who we're putting in the NBA. But Jordan Poole and all the others that are in the NBA, starting back to the guys that played before me and the guys that are now that recently, like the Musa and the Calebs, it's just great to see that these young men is getting an opportunity to do something they love doing and being able to accomplish their goals and dreams is playing on the next level. But let's keep in mind, too, that those who don't make it doesn't mean that they're a failure either. And that's the beauty of this Michigan brand and being an alumni here is that you get an education at the University of Michigan along with a degree, you're walking right into a good-paying job that's going to help support you and your family. And I'm an example of that, right? I wouldn't have this job right now if I didn't get my degree.
Anybody have anything else?
Michigan or Penn State tomorrow?
Don't play with me. You see it, baby. It's Mays out too, right? Yeah. I'm so disappointed. I need a Mays jacket in my size, like a Mays jacket, so I can wear it proud tomorrow. But I figured out I'm gonna get layered. I'm just gonna layer up and find a hoodie, Mays hoodie, and just layer up because I'm coming dressed. And I'm also not only coming dressed, but I'm gonna be loud. I'm gonna be active, and I'm gonna be yelling defense, defense, defense. That's the only thing I know. I'm so excited about the boys in the game tomorrow. It's going to be fun to see Chrysler and see a lot of our alums coming back to come support the program and see Harbaugh and his team, Coach Harbaugh, and his team. It's going to be fun.
Earlier today, Carolina was posting that you were kind of supporting Haley Rodriguez, cancer battle.
Yes, sir. Man, Coach Hutch is, she's an angel. And, I say that because of the person. And yes, her resume speaks for itself on all the winning and the consistency of winning within the culture of her program and the success rate that she's had with, her staff and giving them opportunities to blossom and development to head coaches. I mean, she's a great example to this school and to all of us as coaches. So can't wait to get on her schedule and pick her brain. She knows that. We have a meeting set up soon. But, knowing that one of her players who my boys, Jace and Jet knows, Kaylee, who they went to school with at the Gulliver Prep in the Miami, Florida area, a young lady who's fighting cancer as we speak. And yes, I'm able to speak on it because of, as you know, in my social media page, wearing a T-shirt in support of Kaylee. It's a tough time for her and her family. And, my prayers is out for her, and I'm going to be supporting her during this time. And, I've had friends and family who have beat cancer, and I also have friends and family who have lost the battle. And so I just ask all of you, please continue to pray for Kaylee and her family, and also Coach Hutch and her staff as Kaylee is dealing with this tough situation.
Did you mind? I don't think we've asked about Joey Baker. What's he brought to this? First of all, is he full go now from health perspective?
Yeah, he's been practicing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What has he brought?
But you'll see today, because I know you're going to be out there.
What has he brought?
He won't be practicing today. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Just so you know.
What has he brought? And I guess, what kind of role do you expect from him?
Well, he's brought leadership, experience, a competitor, a guy with a great work ethic, played in the Power 5 conference, great program, Hall of Fame coach and Coach K. And, not just the fact that he, everyone talks about how well he can shoot the basketball from the outside, but what I've been impressed with him is his level of competitiveness. And also what's been great about him is watching him smile every day. And, you come from a program like Duke, and you talk to Joy, and hopefully you get a chance to, to chat it up with him. It's nice to hear like how he's been happy about being here at the University of Michigan and enjoying working with his teammates and seeing how the staff that we all are all in and helping him be the best version of himself.
So, what?
I got to check my phone because I know isn't the staff coming on next?
Yeah.
2:36.
He's the last one.
Since you mentioned it, okay, what is Joey's health status that you are willing to share?
Well, because we've had, pretty, what is it, 4 days in a row of practice, and I just wanted to give him a day off just to rest. Keep in mind that he had surgery on his hip, and I know you guys are well aware of that, but I don't want to break him down, and nor do we want anything to flare up, but just want to give him a nice little pitch count as we head into November.